You do have to follow the money. If you follow the money here, it's not so much that Halliburton wanted a war, so they told Dick Cheney to go get one for him. It wasn't that. But you do get a willingness to go to war.
Ayes are 296, the nays are 133. The joint resolution is passed without objection.
You get a willingness to look at the cost-benefit scenario. American people who have a son or a daughter that's going to be deployed and maybe shot at, maybe killed or maimed in Iraq, they look at the cost-benefit and they go, I don't think that's good. But when politicians who understand contracts, future contracts, when they look at war, they have a different cost-benefit analysis.
The defense budget is $750 billion. Profits went up last year well over 25%. I guarantee you, when war becomes that profitable, you're going to see more of it.
I don't know how you would want to assess the reasons the United States went to war in Iraq. But ultimately, you have to ask yourself at the end of the day, does any of this contribute to whether or not we are making valid and appropriate decisions about our conduct of foreign policy?
Why do we fight? I don't know why we fight. Being a military officer, I really don't sit back and look at who's with me and who's against me. My job is to make sure that my squadron, my unit is ready to go to war. There's always going to be people that disagree with what we do, and we can't stop that. That's part of democracy.
From a soldier's perspective and stuff, it gets old listening to the debates on policy, but it's not ours to decide. We do what we're told.
The first light of dawn is breaking above me. No explosions yet, just a distant sound of low rumbles all across the city. You can hear dogs are barking. They know that something is about to happen.
هل تعرف ماذا كانوا يخططون السياسيون الأمريكي؟
لا والله ما نعرف، احنا ناس أميين. احنا نروح بلدنا ونجي بلدنا.
تعلمت هواية وانقهرت هواية لأنه عرفت بأنه هاي الحرب المرة راح تكون نتائجها مو طبيعية لأنه تهديدها كان قوي وبأنه أكثر يعني.
This will be a campaign unlike any other in history. A campaign characterized by shock, by surprise, by the employment of precise munitions on a scale never before seen.
You also have to understand that in trying to take out Saddam during OIF, we wanted the Iraqi people to have their infrastructure there and not be mad at the coalition forces.
That's one of the great results of the military-industrial complex, the defense industry. With the advances in the weaponry now, we can destroy the target of our commander's choosing and minimize collateral damage, which is such an all-encompassing term, the risk to innocent life.
Nobody's out there to just destroy things. Just because I wear a uniform makes me no different than anybody else that's sitting here in this room with me. I have the same family. I get up, I shave just like everybody else. The only difference is there's times when I have to leave my family and go to another country and go to war.
We have the greatest fighting forces on the face of the earth. Our nation is blessed to have so many brave men and women who voluntarily risk their lives to protect our country.
Woke up this morning, I suddenly realized we're all in this together.
My name's William Solomon. I'm 23. I've decided to enlist in the United States Regular Army, and I'm going to be shipping out January 26th. A lot of stuff that I've been going through recently with my mother's death, my financial hardships, and my inability to complete my education. Those three main problems are plain and simple just going to be solved by my enlistment in the military.
When Will first came in, he was actually talking to the Air Force, but he asked me a question about the Army aviation, and once he asked me a question, I told him about it.
And then he showed me the brochure of some of the helicopters, and then like the RH-66, it's a stealth helicopter. I was like, wait, they got this?
At that point in time, you know, I explained to him our warrant officer flight program.
Got all your paperwork?
You can take somebody right off the street as long as the person has a high school diploma, can come in, get a good job guaranteed to them. I think once Will found out about that, he was pretty much locked in.
He was completely unlike what I expected of a recruiter when I first spoke with him.
The outside of that city we used to train in, that's a Apache attack helicopter there.
Because he told me that Army recruiters, quote, got the bad reputation of car salesmen.
The toughest part about recruiting is gaining a person's trust. Whatever we say, we back up with black and white regulations, so there's no smokes and mirrors around here.
You fixed up my life real good, man. You're going to make sure, because of you, I'm going to retire real nice. Because I'm thinking of it as a career thing. Every little bit of strife I've gone through in my life, every little inconvenience I've always, or since I signed the papers anyway, I just looked at as something that'll make basic training that much easier.
We are an army of one.
One team, one mission, one goal.
You know, the whole idea of you can be all you can be if you join the Army. Look at how we appeal to them. You're going to learn a skill, you're going to get a trade, you'll be able to go to college, give you all these benefits if you go and serve your country. We appeal to people's self-interest and then put them into a situation which is based on self-sacrifice.
Didn't really have much of a blood family. My mom was the only blood. Me and my mom. Hold on. Hello. Hello? Yeah, Jamie. I mean, I got real good friends, and they've been just as good as a blood family, but they're not that supportive of me going in. They say, you know, try and give me boogeyman stories about what's going to happen in basic. As rough as basic can be, it can't be as bad as they say. I'm not worried.
Right now, you have more of a separation between the military and particularly the middle class and the upper middle class in this country than existed even under the draft era. If you go back to Vietnam, basically the inequity of the draft helped prolong the war. As long as the poor and unrepresented were dying, people went along with it. You know, we got out of Vietnam effectively when the lottery started and middle-class kids were getting killed. First thing that happened was they went to this all-volunteer army. And that solved the draft inequity problem because everybody's a volunteer.
This is supposedly a stealth helicopter, which hopefully will go into service by the time I become a pilot.
And that makes the military much easier to use because you guys are fucking volunteers. Screw you. You signed up for this. You know, the objections don't carry as much water.
In a period of increased tension, the advantage gained by flying men into position quickly might represent the difference between success or failure in a military operation.
I arrived in Vietnam in July of 1965. I was part of the buildup to 50,000 troops. I remember saying to one of my buddies, you know, this keeps up, they're going to have 100,000 troops over here. And he laughed. He said, what are you, nuts? They'd have to declare war for 100,000 troops.
My fellow Americans, renewed hostile actions against United States ships on the high seas and the Gulf of Tonkin have today required me to order the military forces of the United States to take action in reply.
I was assigned to a helicopter company, 13th Aviation Battalion. I was a door gunner on one of the helicopters. It was quite an experience for, you know, a 21-year-old kid. You're involved in taking people's lives. From the perspective of a helicopter, you're up X number hundreds of feet, and you're shooting at little dots that are running around. You're not shooting at somebody face to face.
Okay, there's a blue shirt on a trail.